Assalamu alaikum. So I've just spent about 7.5 hours mediating with some people, like they're a small family, and just mediating between their issues. And first of all, like, mediation is like very, very intense. Like, it's so intense because especially when there's multiple people, you got so much stuff going on. And I was there for 7.5 hours, just about prayed salah in between, and just crazy stuff, And I wanted to share with you some lessons I think are really, really important that I learned from like spending 7-8 hours with human beings and just trying to resolve things. And I'm not even sure like what I'm gonna say to you, but there's a lot of stuff on my mind. And I think that I want to start by saying a lot of the issues that you see that people have, they're actually from nothing. Like, most of the arguments, most of the problems are all like related to little petty things that if an external person was to look at the actual thing, they would say, this is like ridiculous. Like, are you serious? This is what the whole family is like upset about. This is what's going on, and it's just so petty. Now, this whole pettiness, why does it come up? That's the question, because we know it's petty, right? Why does it come up? How come that when it's someone else's situation, I can see that it's so petty, but when it's me, I can't tell it's petty. When it's me, it's huge. Why? There's one simple reason. Is that we make it huge. How do we make it huge? Why do we make it huge? Because of our ego. Our ego goes so big that thing increases in size with it. So let's say that someone said salam to everyone and they didn't say salam to me, right? Now, normally, that's not really a reason for me to, break a marriage, for example, right? But if, someone did that and it was related to being married or not being married, most people on the outside would think, you know what, this is petty, like, forget about it, don't even think about it, look at what your marriage is and look at what this is. But when it comes to ego is the enemy. Ego is the thing that takes something small and makes it huge. And of course, this is from shaitan, this is from our nafs, this is from so many different things. But at the heart of it, the ego forces you into positions that you wouldn't normally go into, right? Then what happens is your ego goes and meets someone else's ego. And then those two egos together, they have exponential growth, which basically creates a blast. And this blast then creates problems in relationships. The kind of things that we see, whether it's divorce, whether it's a mother not talking to her son, whether it's like families like being torn apart, and sometimes it's so petty, So this is one thing that, one tip for that is actually to zoom out, right? What do I mean by zoom out? Is like, if you look at what's actually happened, let's say, okay, so a person walked in, he didn't say salam to me. Now, for me, I feel disrespected. How can it be that he said salam to everyone and he didn't say salam to me, right? We need to zoom out. We need to just chill out for a second and say, look, what's actually happened? A person has come in, I wanted them to say salam, they should have said salam to me, right? We could get rid of that whole thing in our head, but we don't. Why? Because of the ego. So I'm saying to you, if you let go of it in your head, that will be half the problem gone. Now, the second problem I found through the mediation is that a lot of people that are in direct conflict with each other are not in direct communication. Think about that. We're in direct conflict with each other, but we're not in direct communication. And being out of direct communication actually worsens the conflict. So, for example, I have a problem with you for 1 year, and you have a problem with me for 1 year, and none of us have ever spoken about the problem, and we carry on like the problem is not there. It's like completely ridiculous, right? Because if the problem is there, and if you actually want it resolved, then the natural thing would be to actually talk about it and resolve it. But we don't. When it comes to conversations, we either go to silence, right, where we just don't talk to each other, or we go to violence, where everyone's arguing and everyone's being terrible to each other. What we actually need to do is dialogue. So at times like this, we need to move conflict by communication. So we need to go to each other and we say, listen, there's a problem I've heard that you've got with me, or I have a problem with you, or I'm not happy about something you did, or I wanted to speak to you about this situation, but it's a difficult thing to talk about. Whatever the situation, the point is that communication is the key to turning those relationships around. So one we said is ego, one is communication, and then the third big thing I would say is that it's all about looking at things in perspective and thinking the best of people, because a lot of the issues that happen is all to do with what's happening in our mind, how we interpret it. So if we think the best of people and do what we encourage, which is make excuses for our brothers, then it's a very, very different situation, right? Like, someone didn't say salam to me. You know what? Maybe they're in a rush. You know what? Maybe they forgot. Maybe they didn't see me. Maybe they did say salam, but they didn't say it with their hand. Maybe anything. The point is, if we make excuses for people, then our mindset towards them changes. So these are the three things I learned from 7.5 hours of mediation, right? Number one is don't let your ego get in the way. Number two is let communication resolve the conflict. And number three is think the best of people. So I hope it helped, and may Allah make all your relationships great. Jazakallah khair for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.